Let's bring in education activist Hendrick Makaneta, who joins us now for this discussion. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Quite interesting revelations being revealed here, but concerning, of course, that many of the people who will be dropping out or who are dropping out are left with little to move on with, because there are concerns about what the future looks like. And where can we draw the problem? I mean, where does the challenge now stem from as we take a look at these numbers?
Well, quite honestly, the terrain of higher education is very different from basic education. And in many ways, you find that students are not able to cope because students generally need support, not only financial support or academic support, but even the issues of emotional support is quite necessary to sustain the lives of students within different universities. So it is true that from time to time, there are students who end up dropping out of the system because of a wide range of challenges that they may face, and that actually creates an even bigger problem, as you have already indicated. The fact that they now owe the universities, they may not be able to pay whatever tuition fee that they now owe. And so it exacerbates the problem because the primary objective, we all want to get ahead in life. And one of the reasons why students get into tertiary institutions is that they want to create a future for themselves.
How much of an impact does the Gauteng education, the basic education department play? I mean, could we say that they may have dropped the ball because of the no longer providing some sort of career guidance for young people in high school as they point them to a certain career path?
Well, quite honestly, the bar is too low within the basic education terrain because if you look at the expectations are very low. So in most cases, you find that when students get into different universities, they have to now grapple with higher order, learning skills, which, they've not always been exposed to when they were at university level. That is why you find that even someone who obtained level 7, in different subjects at matric level, when they get to universities, it's totally a different ball game.
Yeah.
And I think that, as I've mentioned, support is also lacking at times. We have seen challenges as well with regards to the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, where some of the students found themselves destitute without accommodation or their allowances were not paid on time.
Yeah.
And all of these challenges have got a very negative impact on the continued studies of students, particularly those who come from poor communities.
What about the challenges around choosing the incorrect study path and then realizing after the first semester that this is not the direction that one wants to go in? What kind of support that can guardians or parents offer, or perhaps even the tertiary institution itself, in guiding the student towards the right path in terms of the electives chosen and so forth?
Yes, choosing the correct degree or field of study is very important. There is no doubt that many students know what they want, and many of them would like to pursue the degrees that they want to pursue. But unfortunately, most of the time when students get into higher education institutions, they are told that they don't qualify for the option that they've chosen, the first choice that they've made, and they are often directed to the second choice. Or sometimes they are directed to what is available. Sometimes you find that in one faculty, it is already full, and that another faculty may offer something that students may think about. And because of the fear of staying at home, doing nothing, most of the students end up joining even those faculties or those programs that they don't really have passion for. And I can tell you now that, if you're a student and you're studying something that you don't really love or something that you don't really have a passion for, chances are that even if that particular stream is easy, chances are that the student may not be able to cope because they are not doing what they genuinely like. They're not doing what they really wanted to do. And that often affects students and lead to dropout rates within the terrain of higher education.
What questions do you think students should be asking themselves before enrolling for any sort of degree or diploma, insofar as getting an understanding on what they like, whether they're able to sustain it? Because, career paths do change as people get older. But as you try, looking at the matric class of 2024 or even 2023, those who may be taking a gap year, what are the sort of questions they should be asking themselves before enrolling into university or tertiary?
Exactly. Students should be able to thoroughly engage with, different universities, different faculties, particularly the fields that they want to choose. They should be able to go deeper to understand what it takes, the number of modules that they'll have to do, the skills that they'll have to come up with at the later stage. Students must actually be exposed. And in this case, mentorship can certainly go a long way. I want to suggest that, students should be able to get mentors very early because the mentors have already traveled the road and they know the pros and cons of a specific career. And once students can be able to adopt a mentor or work hand in glove with the institution during the gap year, to be allocated a mentor who can be able to take them through, certainly they can be able to see whether they will be able to cope with the specific career that they are going to choose.
And how can parents support and offer this kind of support structure in really trying to guide this young person who may be thinking perhaps dropping out is the solution, and also perhaps talk a little bit about the gap year? If you're a young person who's decided to take a bit of a break to think about what you want to study, what should you be doing within that year as you try and get a better and clearer picture of what the future should hold?
Well, certainly parents should be able to play a central role to guide and support, their children as and when they prepare for the future. But of course, the gap year gives a student enough chance to do proper research because, some of them after writing matric, you find that they were just busy. They were concentrating on exams. Anxiety was as a result of exams. And once they are done, a gap year can certainly help, for them to visit different centers, different employers, talking to captains of industry, doing proper research on what is required in terms of the courses that they'll be doing, but also those who are fortunate, traveling just to see how other people are able to work, with a specific field that they want to choose. So a gap year can certainly give a student a break to be able to know what is it that they genuinely want. Because sometimes students may think that this is the career that I want, only to find that once they get into the classroom, they tend to see, discover that, they were wrong in the first place. But a gap year can certainly give them enough time to be able to make the right choice. And in this case, I think that gap year is also recommended.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion. Education activist Hendrick Makaneta joining us for this discussion, really just unpacking some of the reasons why there are so many tertiary higher education students dropping out, and really just trying to make sense of some of the reasons and some of the tips that can come handy in assessing your career choice.